All right, what's up? I'm actually taking time to film today. I've been putting it off for a little while. Only because I didn't have my car. So a couple weeks ago, I was driving my car. We went to a Cars and Coffee in the morning, and on the way back we stopped to get some food, and when I got in my car, I was locked out of shifting it from park to drive, and we found out that it was a brake light sensor. So we replaced that, and after replacing it, we still couldn't get it to work because it wasn't calibrated, so the lights would stay on all the time or they would stay off all the time. There wasn't really any in between. If they were on all the time, the car was fine, it would drive, it's just your lights would stay on. But if it was off, your car didn't really register your foot on the brake, and it would give you a ton of problems, and you couldn't drive the car, couldn't even start it at some time. So got that fixed. We had it calibrated by a shop. Car drove home fine, parked it, and then after that we ended up, or I got back into the car on a Friday at night because I wanted to go to this nighttime meet, and shock, car didn't turn on, didn't go into gear, same exact issues as before. Took it back to the shop Saturday morning, and they squared it away over the weekend, and then we picked the car back up. So I mean, it's been driving fine since. Starts up, you can go through all the gears. When I say gears, I mean from park to drive and stuff like that, not from like first to six and stuff like that. That car mechanically works just fine. So yeah, that's another thing you should look out for when you're, I guess, looking for a Corvette or buying one. So pretty much the whole point of this video today is just going to be what I like about the car, because I've been thinking over the past 2 weeks since I haven't been able to drive it. I was really thinking about like the things that I really truly love about this car, and I won't say there weren't a lot, but there's enough to keep me happy with the car. There's a cop sitting back there. I'm gonna cry. Okay, there isn't. But yeah, like there's a good amount of things that I've been thinking about, and it was enough for me to just make a video on it. I do have my list again because I'm not really trying to memorize all this stuff. But honestly, one of the first things is probably how this car performs. This car is a beast. I actually got back from a Cars and Coffee, 2 of them this morning. I drove up from northern Kentucky all the way to Cincinnati. Had a blast getting there. Whole time I stressed because this was one of like the first actual trips I've made since the car was fixed, and I was like dogging through the car. I actually ended up using the paddles a lot, just because I don't really end up using them. I just cruise most of the time, but leaving and coming in and stuff, there was a lot of like straightaways, and I ended up using the paddles a lot. I will say they're not the most responsive, and I think when talking to people that have had automatic Corvettes of the C6 with the LS3, they say the earlier like model years, so like I think it's like 08, 9, and maybe 10, they say those were some of the like slower in terms of like paddle shifters, in terms of like responsiveness and stuff like that, but they got better towards the end of the C6's life. But yeah, I noticed that, and it's really fun to just get on it though. I got on it a lot actually, to the point where I had a traction system light turn on, or a traction control light on, and it was really fun this morning. I do wish I kind of recorded it, but I left my GoPro in my 4Runner. And I did remember to charge it yesterday, but I threw it back in my 4Runner because it stays safe in there. And I don't want to, like, lose it because it all sits in one bag. But yeah, so, I mean, this car, like I was saying, you've probably seen some of my, like, driving videos as well. And, you can see, like, the car handles, turns great. It drives great. It's such a smooth car. Like, it shifts when it's supposed to. There's really nothing wrong with the car. And being such an old car, it's 2008. So, I mean, you have to give it props. Like, that's a newer Challenger right there. I don't think that thing even handles remotely as close to this. And I know that's like a different category vehicle. That's a bigger, heavier, more muscle car, where this is a sports car. But I feel like everyone can agree, like, this car can keep up. And that's literally not an issue for this car. This car can go. Which I love about this car, and it's great. I think another thing I want to talk about is, I won't say it's the best thing about this car, but the aftermarket support, especially I think it's better for the bases and then the Z06s. The Grand Sport's kind of that middle ground, because everything that you would do to a base, you would do it to a base to get it to that Grand Sport level, if that makes sense. And I mean, when I say that, I mean like fenders and stuff. If you want to wide body the car, if you want to, I don't know, make it a little wider, a little more aggressive, it's, I think, more on that Grand Sport level to get to in terms of mods like that, because the Grand Sport already has it from factory. So there's no reason for other outfitters to make wide bodies for Grand Sports and stuff like that. And then Z06 is a straight raw power. But for a car like this, you can do all the power mods. You do headers, cams, everything, boost. And then for all the people that do track stuff, you can change out all the suspension components. So there's a lot of stuff you can do to these cars based on what you want to do. So in terms of, like, do you want to do straight line racing? Do you want to do track racing? Do you want a Sunday cruiser? Stuff like that, which I absolutely love about this car. And it's great because it can fit literally anyone. But yeah, so I think another thing is how simple this car is. And I know this car's from 2008, but to put it in today's perspective, this car is a pretty simple car. There's no screen that you have to worry about. There's no digital dash, nothing like that. I mean, I guess you could say it's digital because it has that little display screen at the bottom, but there's nothing else in here except the basic things. Like, you have your gas pedal, your brake, your steering wheel, and that's it. Like, there's no extra tech in here. Like, this is something you will not see in today's car unless you drive a Lexus. And in that point, you might actually see that. But there's, like, nothing else that sticks out in here as, like, complicated. Unless you consider all the computers in this car. For the time, it was advanced. And now it's, like, a pain in the ass. But I do love that about this car. It's super simple, super easy. I mean, like, something breaks, you probably find it because it's old Chevy parts, right? So that's one thing I like about this car, and just how simple it is and how much fun you can actually have in it because of that. Like, you don't have to worry about any type of screens or anything. And then I think one more thing that I really love about this car is, for I think every Corvette except maybe the C8s. I don't really have much up-close personal experience with C8s, but it's the space. honestly, I think C8s might have a little more space. I'm not sure completely. Let's go here, actually. So yeah, so I was talking about space. I've had a lot of people in and out of this car for the past couple weeks now, and they say, wow, this car's super roomy. And it really is for being a two-seater. Like, I can fit myself here, I can fit another person here, and then the trunk is enormous for what it is for being a two-seater. Whereas if you get in a car like a Mustang or something like that, you'll get in, but you have rear seats as well and a big trunk. So I think depending on your purposes with the vehicle, this car is like perfect, honestly, and I love it. Like, you could daily drive this car if you really wanted to. I know many people that do, and it's great, honestly. It serves every purpose, and it just has a ton of space, which is why I like it so much. Yeah, a bunch of bikes over there. That's really cool. Wow, that was nice. I'm trying to find like a empty spot. This looks like an empty spot. Let's just ignore all those signs. And I think the final thing is going to have to and another thing I've found myself doing since I've gotten the car fixed is I put it in neutral and then I pull up the parking brake a lot, just because I don't want to get locked out again and have to call someone to pull my car out. But finally, I think it's got to be like the silhouette of the car. It's so dirty, so nasty. Like, here, let me get back here. Like, the silhouette of this car is just absolutely perfect. And like, if you look at the car from the side, you'll know exactly what car this is. It's a C6. Like, every Corvette has its distinct silhouette, and I absolutely love that about Corvettes. You can just tell which one's which. C7s are super noticeable, C8s, C6s as well. But really that's it. I mean, I didn't really want to make a super long video. It might be super long, I might cut a lot of stuff out, but I've also not recorded in almost a month. And I haven't been in this car for about 2 to 3 weeks. Like, really been in it, because I've just been so worried about breaking it again, or it just breaking on its own. But yeah, I mean, I still have a couple other videos that I want to film. I also want to pump out some 4Runner stuff as well. That car needs some love on the channel. And yeah, but that's really it, honestly. So I will get to editing this video soon. But other than that, thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around. And I'm really liking our engagement on the channel. It actually gets people talking and having an actual comment section, which I appreciate. But thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like it, subscribe, share it. If you know someone that's buying a Corvette, if you own a Corvette, anything, just throw that in the comments, you know, share it. That's all I really have. See ya.